Yeah, and that was my first experience. It's funny. My family does have actually a lot of connections with Germany. My granddad, after the war, he was an artist. He served like in a rifle infantry, like in like the territorial army, which is like they weren't sent to the front line; they were back here. But after the war, there were all sorts of. So I only learned this later, but after the First World War, people realized that like Germany, like if Germany wasn't helped out with its economy and like basically unifying with other countries, then they would probably turn to war again at some point in the future. So there were a lot of efforts after the war to rebuild not only the kind of the Allied countries, but also the Germans. So all sorts of towns in Britain and schools were actually paired with German towns and schools as like an initiative to like foster friendships and, you know, offer support after the war, which I think is like, it's a really sophisticated policy that like it absolutely works, because it means that like Germans and Scottish people, well, British people as a whole, now see themselves as like very good friends and close allies, you know. But that never would have happened if we hadn't like shared goals and like just worked together in all sorts of ways after such a horrendous event. And my granddad went over for basically to as an art student to study a lot of the art in Hamburg or Berlin, somewhere, I don't know. So there's all these sketches from when he was an art student of various German towns, and it's phenomenal to look at. And they made a friend who became like a kind of lifelong friend of my grandparents, who if I were to reach out to them, they'd probably like offer me their home and they'd be like best friends with me. I'm not gonna lie, I found it a bit weird how close they actually were, despite being in another country. And like there was this random German family that were so close with my grandparents that every time they went over to Germany, they would like meet up with each other, and they knew more about me than a lot of my family did, because my gran would always like share the news about what I'm doing and where I'm at. And then when my gran passed away, they closeted gay grandpa. No. Not everyone is LGBT. Yeah, my granddad was friends with a guy in Germany. He must have been gay, obviously. Yeah. Also, he was an artist. Yeah, that was the funny thing. Yeah, after he died, we looked in his loft and we found a bunch of Etsy art. He was doing a lot of furry stuff. Yeah, it was so weird. Yeah. I couldn't believe it when I found out my granddad was a brony. No, it's fine. I get it. Yeah, you'd be surprised how into it an old guy can get. Jeez.